Welcome to Coalition Chat. I'm Dennis O'Hara here with Carol O'Loughlin, the chairwoman of the Stoneham Coalition for a Safe and Healthy Community. Welcome.
Very nice to be with you, Dennis.
So today we are here to talk about the different helplines and ways that people can seek help for treatment and things of that nature. But first, I want to talk a little bit about the coalition and how our mission has sort of become more focused and energized over after the last couple of years and as we're moving forward. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Okay, sure. Thanks. Yeah, the Stone Coalition was formed about 9 years ago. It's a nonprofit organization that comprised of community members, including representatives from our local businesses, healthcare, town and school officials are on the coalition, as well as people in recovery from addictions. We also have Mike Day's office is represented there as well. Um, and our mission is to address substance use, addiction, and their root causes through education, advocacy, and support.
Mhm. Wonderful. And so we have several different areas of focus, and two of the important ones are education and treatment and prevention. And so that's why we're making this video today, because we can, help our local community, in many different ways. But there are professionals out there who might be able to actually, help even more than we lay people can. And that's what one of the things that we like to do is to point people toward those resources. Okay, I'd like to start with the 988 number. So that's sort of the catch-all for everything we're going to be talking about here today. But why don't you tell us a little bit about what the 988 nationwide number is all about and who should be using it and for what purpose?
Sure. 988 is, as you mentioned, a nationwide number for anyone to connect at any time, 24/7, to a compassionate, accessible care and support with mental health related distress.
Mhm.
So, if someone is having thoughts of suicide, a substance use crisis, or really any other kind of emotional distress, they can call 988 any time of day or night.
Mhm. And veterans have a special helpline as well associated with that, correct?
That's correct. When you do call 988, you can press 1 to be connected to the Veterans Crisis Lifeline. And that's for veterans or anyone who supports a veteran, someone in their life. And there's also a text option for veterans, and that is 838255.
Mhm.
Um, but the number is available to anyone 365 days a year, all day, and that particular extension provides support from someone who really understands maybe a little bit better the issues of a veteran.
Mhm. And so it doesn't necessarily have to be the person who is in distress who calls. It can be a family member or friend or someone who's looking to provide help.
That's correct. Anyone can call on behalf of someone. Sometimes when you're supporting someone in crisis, it's also difficult for you, the caregiver or the supporter. So yes, this is a resource that's available to all of us.
And as anyone who's involved with young people today know, it's sometimes hard to get them to want to talk on the phone. So there's also a text option for anyone who would feel more comfortable texting, correct?
That's correct. So Hey Sam is the app that's available for kids, young adults, through the 988 helpline. But you don't need to call 988. A young person can simply text 439-726, and somebody on the other end will respond. And the responders, again, are trained, compassionate, trained volunteers, essentially, who, in this case, are young adults themselves, but have received the proper training to respond to someone. And they have support as well. So the young adults answering the calls have supervisors and people available to them to kind of weigh in and support if the need feels like it's a little bit overwhelming for a young person to handle.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I just want to drive home about 988 is that while a lot of the other resources we'll be talking about are strictly referrals, 988, you can call and just talk over your feelings with someone. You don't necessarily have to be looking for professional treatment or care. You can just, if you need someone to talk to about how you're feeling, and, especially if you're feeling suicidal or, you're really, about to do some harm to yourself, then it's a good thing to just, call and talk to someone at the 988 number.
That's correct. That's correct. This is not really a clinical intervention per se, but often it's really what someone needs is just someone who can listen and validate and just be there for you any time of day or night.
The next resource I'd like to talk about is the Massachusetts Behavioral Health Helpline. Now, that sounds like a mouthful to say. That's why it's frequently shortened to BHHL. And this is more of a referral service and for people who are looking for behavioral health needs. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you know about that?
Yes, that's correct. You can call or text the Behavioral Health Helpline in Massachusetts, and this is specific to Massachusetts. This is for people who are residents of Massachusetts. Again, this is a service staffed by trained clinicians and peer specialists who will assist anyone in Massachusetts in connecting with resources for a range of behavioral health needs. So it may be treatment, it may be an outpatient therapist, it may be someone needs a psychiatrist, a prescriber, or a substance use program, or potentially, a treatment resource for substance use, more of a residential or longer term treatment. Mm-hmm. So you're correct, Dennis, that the behavioral health helpline staff make referrals using a comprehensive directory of mental health and substance use treatment providers within our state. The call itself is available to anyone in the state, regardless of your insurance status, but your insurance status will help them to identify the right provider for you. Mm-hmm. So depending on what one's insurance is, they are able to navigate that sometimes complicated system of care to find someone who is not only covered under one's insurance, but also has openings. And a lot of times when we're looking for this kind of care, most people are in a situation where you may not have the wherewithal or the resilience at this moment of crisis to make 20 phone calls. So they do a lot of that legwork for you. Mm-hmm. Another thing to know about the Behavioral Health Helpline is that it's available in 200 languages, mm-hmm. And deaf individuals should contact the BHHL using Mass Relay at 711.
Okay, so there's an option for deaf individuals. That's wonderful.
That's correct.
Now, going along with the BHHL to an extent, perhaps more localized, is the Interface Helpline, and that's available to certain communities, not all communities in Massachusetts, unlike the Behavioral Health Helpline, but Stoneham does have an interface service. So let's talk a little bit about Interface and how it distinguishes from the BHHL.
Yes, you access Interface through their 800 number as well. And they're also, it's important to note, they're available 9 to 5, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and Tuesday and Thursday, 8 to 6. So it's not 24/7 like the Behavioral Health Helpline. However, it is a service that is available to those of us in Stoneham and some of our surrounding communities. This is a referral service, though, that communities pay for. So it's just an additional resource for us. So we're lucky to have it. And again, the person that on the other end of the call provides individualized assistance to the caller. Again, providing referrals, utilizing one's health insurance to figure out what's covered, and then referring the caller to the appropriate provider.
Right. And these helplines are so important because, like you said, when someone's in crisis or mentally, feeling overwhelmed, and they may make 2 or 3 phone calls and then just give up. Whereas here they can make 1 phone call and then they can get the assistance that they need to line up their treatment.
That's correct. Yes. both behavioral health helplines will also follow up. They follow up to make sure, people were able to effectively reach someone and schedule an appointment. So very comprehensive.
So, whereas the behavioral health helpline and interface cover a wide range of mental issues, there is a specific helpline for those looking for substance abuse treatment and prevention. Could you talk a little bit about the SUD helpline, Massachusetts?
Yes, the SUD helpline in Massachusetts is another 800 number and another referral service, but this one specifically focuses on identifying substance use treatment programs, recovery programs, or support for people with problem gambling addictions. So again, trained staff assist in understanding the treatment systems and the range of options that might be available to that individual. Now, the BHHL will actually refer people to substance use programs as well. The interface primarily focuses on mental health support, and the substance use helpline focuses primarily on substance use programs. So if you kind of already know if it's not necessarily a mental health issue combined with a substance use issue, which often is the case, oftentimes these are coexisting kinds of conditions that people often have that need co-treatment. But sometimes someone is just seeking substance use treatment, and then the substance use helpline may be an appropriate resource for that person to find those resources.
Yeah. I'm not a mental health professional, but it's interesting to me that they added gambling to substance use. I'm assuming that the manifestation of those addictions are similar, and so that's why gambling is added in with the substance use.
Yeah. So I'm not a clinician either, but I will say that gambling is considered an addiction. So I think they're looking at sort of the manifestation. But also the etiology of it is very comparable to treating someone with a substance use disorder. There are some similar methods that would be utilized in those treatment programs.
Not that if you accidentally call the substance use helpline, but you'd be better served by the behavioral health helpline. Then these organizations all sort of know about each other, network with each other, and can point you in the right direction. Correct?
That's absolutely right, Dennis. Thank you for mentioning that. In Massachusetts, there's been a desire to create a sort of a philosophy of no wrong door. So yes, I think these organizations have worked very hard to connect so that there are linkages, so that if and honestly, even though you might be looking for a referral, if you call the BHHL and there seems to be a fairly acute situation going on where it seems that someone is trying to hurt themselves or someone may be in danger, the BHHL can engage an emergency service response who can come out and respond to the home. 988 again is more of a listening helpline. They provide wonderful support, but they're not going to provide a referral. However, if it's very clear someone needs a referral, they can actually connect the person to the BHHL or give them that phone number and suggest that they give a call. Again, everyone on a call is evaluating the person, sort of doing a screening type of process to kind of evaluate whether or not they need some immediate assistance, or if a referral to a program can wait till the next day, or if they need to really maybe engage the SUD helpline, perhaps if someone really is trying to get into a treatment program that day, they may engage one another to best serve the person's needs.
So we've recently become aware of a website that is specifically geared towards parents who are trying to find mental health resources and options for their children. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, Handhold MA or handholdma.org is a website that is really a resource. It's rich with resources for parents trying to kind of navigate care for children. And a lot of times with parents or guardians working with children with maybe some emotional issues, you may not know if it's a mental health issue or if it's sort of a uh, just a stage of development that there may be some learning issues. It's very, very hard sometimes to tease out with younger children what's going on, and parents are often learning about their children in these early stages of life. So this is a great resource for just kind of clicking around to see if, like, is it this issue, is it this issue, oh, what resources are there if it's a school issue or a learning issue, what resources are there if it's sort of an emotional issue that my kid is having a reaction to a traumatic event, or just things that might just happen in the course of just growing up in general. Or if there may be some deeper issues going on, maybe there is some kind of a disposition to a certain kind of mental illness. You're seeing some signs and signals of it in a young child. Children don't usually get diagnosed with mental illnesses, but oftentimes the behavioral health or world can help out a lot in sort of figuring out what is the best sort of early intervention that can be done to kind of help avert a problem later on. So they list a wide range of available resources and tips and tools for navigating the mental health system. As a matter of fact, we just posted something from handholdma.org on our Facebook page last week about motivational interviewing, which is a technique in sort of interacting with really with anyone, but in particular with children when you're trying to sort of work through an issue together. So it just some really handy tips for parents on that website.
And all links to all of these resources and the helplines are available on our website, stoneham-coalition.org. And we also are very active with the Mystic Valley Public Health Coalition, and they have a lot of the similar resources on their website as well.
They do. There are lots of ways to find this information. I believe, Dennis, you're going to post some of these phone numbers and websites. But if you go to the Mystic Valley Public Health Coalition website, there is a section called Connections to Care, and there are there's a wide range of links there to things like the BHHL. There's a little bit of information about 988. There's information, I believe Handhold is listed on there, and then just some other treatment programs in this region in the Northeast that that people might be able to reach out to directly if they choose to. They just put this application on their website. It's very comprehensive. Many state, regional, and local resources are listed on the MVPHC website.
MVPHC. So, Carol, looks like the coalition is going to end the summer very actively. We've got some lots of things going on where we'll be out and about in the community. So, what do we have coming up?
Yeah, we love to get out in the community to different events. We were at the health fair this spring, and we'll also have a table at Town Day on September 23rd. And our second annual Recovery Fest is happening on the Common on September the 30th. So we'll be out and about and looking forward to meeting people in the community.
Wonderful. And information about all of this will be on our website, stoneham-coalition.org. And amazingly, everything that you just mentioned is taking place on the Stoneham Common. So you can just keep looking for us right there. Well, Carol O'Loughlin, thank you for joining me for today's Coalition Chat and talking about the different resources available to us. Again, all of the links and information that we discussed today can be found on our website, stoneham-coalition.org.